Support the BB Warrior by becoming a channel member. You'll get great benefits like member shoutouts, being able to view videos early, and even members-only content. Sign up with the link in the description. Goggle fogging is something that every player has experienced at least once, and you already know it's terrible. If you can't see, well, you're not going to be a very effective Airsoft player. So in today's video, we're going to discuss not only what causes your goggles to fog, but a couple of solutions that you can try that I guarantee are going to help you to prevent fog from ever happening again. Let's get right into it in today's video. What's up, Airsofters? My name is Lane, and welcome back to the BB Warrior. We're here to help you have a better time both on and off the Airsoft field through our educational content. If you enjoy the videos that we create here, I'd love it if you joined our community by hitting that subscribe button down below, or even by becoming a member with the link in the description below, which gives you some great perks, like not only being able to see videos early, but getting some exclusive content as well. With that out of the way, I've noticed that goggle fogging has gotten much worse this year now that Airsoft fields are reopening because of COVID masks, because they help trap that heat in. I feel like it's made the fogging much worse on my end. But that begs the question, what causes goggle fog? And it's actually a pretty simple concept. The air that is on the inside of your goggles is going to be warmer and have more moisture than the air that is on the outside, which is going to be cooler and drier as well. Because of that combination, you're going to see condensation on the inside of your goggles, which leads to fog. That being said, there are a couple of ways to avoid your goggles fogging, and the first one that I want to talk about actually isn't going to have anything to do with the goggles themselves, but it's by avoiding heat traps. By having gear that is on your head that is trapping that heat in, it's going to make it much easier for you to fog. So the first thing that I would recommend getting rid of is that if you're using some sort of helmet or anything like that, ditch it for a ball cap, for a boonie, whatever it may be, that's going to help the heat get away from your head, and it's going to make sure that you don't have as much there to lead to fogging. The other thing that I would suggest is reevaluating what you're using for your face protection. Now, if you're one of those players that doesn't use anything, well, you're in the clear here, but if you're like me and you want to protect your teeth, your nose, anything like that, you probably have some sort of mask. Now, I highly recommend getting a mesh mask. Now, this one is from One Tigress. This will be linked in the description below. And what I like about this is that the center is mesh, so that my teeth, my nose, everything right here is going to be protected from a BB impact. But at the same time, all that hot air, when I breathe out, instead of going up right into my goggles and causing fog, it's going to go out into the air, not be a problem. What I really like is that the sides are made out of kind of like a nylon material with some padding behind it, which means that if I get hit on the cheeks, it's still not going to hurt, that it's going to stop the BB, but at the same time, it's flexible, more so than a complete mesh mask, and I'm able to aim down my sights really easy. This one also has mesh protectors for the ears, because my local field requires that, but they make versions of this that do not have that. By having a lower face mask setup that allows you to, let that hot air get out from you, it's not going to get trapped in the fabric and stay on your head, it's going to make sure that your fogging is going to be less severe, and there's going to be less of that hot air going into your goggles that caused the problem in the first place. I also notice that this happens a lot if you're wearing a balaclava or any sort of headgear like that. It just kind of traps the heat in there and causes a lot of issues. Now, the next thing that you can do, if you can't stop that hot air from getting in there, well, you can try to put some cold in there, right? So what a lot of people have done has gotten some sort of fan goggles, which is actually what I run. These are the ESS turbo fans, and they have this little fan up here with a battery pack on the strap, and it pushes cold air down in there to counteract that hot air. What this is going to do is it's going to prevent some of the fogging, and what you're able to do with these is I've had my goggles completely fogged, turn on the fan, and you can just see it like going away, like when you turn on the air in your car on a winter morning, for example. It's the same sort of idea. Now, what I really like about these is that the fan is built in. It makes things a lot easier. There are some external fan setups that exist. However, in my opinion, they're kind of goofy looking, they're kind of heavy, and they're expensive as well. Now, don't get me wrong, these were pretty expensive goggles from ESS. Again, these are the turbo fans. But by allowing that cold air to get in there, it's going to make sure that your goggles fog less severely. Now, I know what some other people are going to say, hey, well, if you don't have full seal, then, air can get in there. And that's absolutely true, but I want to protect my eyes. The other eye protection that I use are these little glasses from 3M. These are like $7, but they're full seal, and they work surprisingly well, admittedly, for being $7. I'll typically wear those for really long games where these are going to get heavy on my head. But overall, by putting air into your goggles, it's going to make sure that the hot air is counteracted and you don't have any sort of fogging. This is why fogging typically goes down for players when they start moving around or running, because you have all that air that's just out there getting into the warm, mixing with each other, making sure that the fog goes away. Now, the third thing that you can do to prevent your goggle fog, which I think is the most consistent and the best overall, is to use some sort of spray or wipe on the actual lens. While most goggles on the lens themselves are going to have some sort of layer that's either for anti-scratch or to prevent from fog, not all goggles are created evenly, and I'm a huge proponent of you get what you pay for with goggles. After all, you're protecting your eyes, you're going to want to spend a fair amount of money on it, get the best that you can afford. However, over time, this layer is going to wipe off. It's either going to go from the rain, just go from overall uses, scratches, whatever it may be, and either you can replace the lens itself, but if the lens doesn't have any good film on it to begin with, it's really not going to solve your problems. So what I like to do is I like to use a wipe on there, which is going to create that layer and prevent fogging. And that's why I want to talk about a product that I really like, which is Fog Stop. Now, full disclosure, Fog Stop was kind enough to send me a tin of their product to try for today's video, and I really liked it. How it works is fairly simple. You're just going to take a little dab of it, and you're going to put it on the inside of your goggles and buff it out. You don't need a lot. According to them, the most they've heard of players getting out of one of their cans is 45 uses. Now, that being said, you might be able to get 45 uses on a pair of goggles like this. However, on the ESS turbofans, which have more surface space, you're probably going to get less uses. But the point of the matter is you don't need a ton. What these sort of products do is by putting a layer on the goggles, it makes sure that the water can't accumulate on the actual lens itself, which is going to prevent the fogging. It's also going to make sure that you have a nice, clean image looking through your goggles. Over my time in Airsoft, I've heard a lot of players say that they have sort of homemade remedies for this, whether it be like dish soap or using shaving cream, but the issue with using those on your goggles is that while they may prevent the fogging, they're going to put some sort of tint or some sort of layer on there that is not going to be completely see-through. So yeah, you may have stopped your fogging, but it looks like there's a hazy effect to it, and it looks like everything's out of focus, if that makes sense. So overall, I really liked this product. It worked well on my goggles and helped to prevent fog, just as advertised. What I really like is that these tins are not only contained, but they're pretty small, so you can throw them in an admin pouch, throw them in a little pocket, little GP pouch, whatever it may be, and you can always keep it on the field with you. Now, I know that most of my viewership is in the US. This is a UK-based company, but the shipping was pretty fast. Not only is it affordable if you're looking to purchase it, but for it to get from the UK over to the US took like less than 2 weeks, which I was completely not expecting. I was expecting it to take like a month, but it was super fast despite even a lot of the slowdown in global postage due to the pandemic. But overall, that's going to be 3 great ways that you can stop goggle fogging when on the aerosol field. Overall, I think that getting some sort of protection like Fog Stop on the goggles is going to be your best bet, but as well making sure that you can get the best goggles that you can afford is also really going to help out. But that's my personal tips for stopping goggle fog. If you have anything that you personally use, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. Again, a huge thanks to Fog Stop for making today's video possible. If you want to pick it up with a coupon, there's a link down in the description below. This has been Lane from the BB Warrior, and I'll see you all next time.